Hey everyone, this is Michael with the general reading for Sagittarius Sun, Moon, and Rising for the month of May 2019. I do hope that this video finds you well. I am very interested to see what is going on for all of you. You do have your ruling planet Jupiter that went retrograde in your sign last month. I think it was like April, I want to say 17th? I could be wrong. It might have, I actually think it was the 11th. So there's been a lot of inward reflection, I think, for you, and really trying to figure out where it is you're going next, kind of getting into that long-term Sagittarian vision, that wide view, and really just seeing where it is you want to go next. I know I've been feeling it as a Sagittarian moon, so I'm curious to see how this is going to apply to the collective. Before we begin, I just kind of want to give a brief astrological update as well as a few announcements. I am actually going to be doing love readings the start in May, kind of the middle of the month. So if you're interested in seeing what's going on in your love life, definitely keep your eyes peeled for those. I know that would be really exciting for a lot of you. I did create a poll, and that was the overwhelming consensus. A lot of you wanted love readings. So we're going to be giving that a whirl. I did also, I have all the astrological information for this video as a blog post, just like I did last month. You can find the link down below. I know that we have a lot of stuff going into Taurus this month, though there's going to be kind of some slowing down, maybe even kind of bringing things to a halt for a little while. So, Taurus can kind of be a slow starter, so that might be a bit frustrating for you, to be honest. We do also have Mars in your opposite sign in Gemini, so there might be a bit of conflict that's coming up in relationships for you, or the way that you approach relationships. You might be getting flack from partners. This could even be business partners. It doesn't necessarily need to be romantic with the seventh house. And of course, all of this is really going to vary with your specific natal chart. So if you're curious to see how this is affecting you, you can actually refer to the link down below. It will give you a detailed natal chart, and you can kind of track where the planets are going through that. I also use astro.com. They actually have a with transits button when you're looking at your natal chart. Just as a resource. I think astrology is super, super helpful, and usually these readings are very, very in line, I have found. Yeah, and let's see. And of course, before we begin, I also want to disclaim that these are general readings, so obviously not all of the messages that are coming through are going to apply to you. It is up to your own discernment to figure out what fits and what is to be left behind. And if you are interested in getting more thorough information and this reading just doesn't resonate, you're absolutely welcome to check out your moon and rising sign as well, or just look at another reader. There are so many amazing readers on YouTube now. We live in an amazing age where there's just so much information that's coming forward, and this community is absolutely booming. So I'm sure there is a messenger out there if I'm not the one for you. Although if you found me, I'm sure there's something to be gained here. I do see, for those of you who don't know, I determined the sign for the video by drawing a card. And we got this Temperance card for you. This is your card, your major arcana, and this is a beautiful card. I love this deck, and the art on this card is just stunning. And this is telling me that a lot of you are really striking a new balance. A lot of you really are engaging with this Jupiter retrograde that we talked about earlier, especially with the Hanged Man here. There is kind of this pause, there is kind of this gaining a new perspective on things, and this is very, very beneficial for you at this time. So this really just felt so, so perfect to see these two cards. Some of you also might be dealing with a Pisces. You might be getting a little hung up on a Pisces. I do see that. Neptune is still in Pisces as well, so there is kind of a watery nature to intuition right now. It is squaring you, so that might be a bit uncomfortable. And I will say we also have Lilith moving into Pisces at the start of May, May 3rd. So some of you may really be taking some time to look at yourself, to kind of do some shadow work. I'm feeling like that Lilith placement is going to be a really strong time to look at your subconscious and look at the ways you sabotage yourself. So it's very interesting. I definitely recommend reading up on Lilith if it's not something you're familiar with. I'm honestly doing a lot of research myself because it's just come into my stream of consciousness pretty recently, but it's been fascinating. So I'll have to let you know more. Um, Anyways, we do. I'm just feeling like this is a time to pause, a time to heal. A lot of you have been really just looking forward. And I actually feel like that was kind of what you were doing last month. There was a lot of planning, a lot of long term planning, trying to figure out what you're doing next, where everything is going. And this is kind of the overall energy so far. I'm interested to see what we're going to get in the actual spread. But I just wanted to share those messages because these two cards did come out together, which is interesting. So I'm going to start setting the intention here, setting the space, and then I will begin with a shuffle. I was told to shuffle 4 times. Sorry, these cards are very big, so they're a bit difficult to shuffle. 2. And 1 more. Okay, what do we got here? This is going to be the past energy for you, Sagittarius, what your energy is like coming into this month. Interesting. Yeah, this is all making a lot of sense. We do have this Knight of Cups. The Well card, which is a unique card to this Ethereal Visions tarot deck. And the Tower. So this Knight of Cups, we were just talking about Pisces, and this is actually another Piscean card. So some of you really might have been dealing with a Pisces. You might have had someone who is kind of moving into your life romantically. This is a very romantic card, usually a water sign, not always. This is someone who's very romantic, gentle in their approach, very slow, steady, emotional, just lovely, yummy energy. This could be you as well, being kind of in your day-to-day life, just going through very calm, very stable emotionally, very strong energy. And, you know, with this Well card, this would make a lot of sense because this is in the heart of the past, kind of the emotional position. And I feel like a lot of you really were reflecting. You really were looking inside of yourself and spending a lot of time inward. And I feel like there was a lot of breakthrough, a lot of kind of intuitive downloads that were happening for you with this Tower card here. This could also be indicating a Mars or a Scorpio that you were in communication with as well. Communication might have actually been pretty tricky. You might have had a pretty nasty falling out with someone. But it seems like whatever it was, it didn't really rock your world. It might have pulled you inward. This feels much more like an inner tower. It doesn't feel like your life crumbling apart or being thrown out of a situation. It feels much more like kind of this falling away of ego, seeing yourself from a different angle. We see that this man is still wearing a mask, and the tower that he's found himself in, it's there's no entryway from the earth, so it was very much stuck in the mind, and the universe intercepted by throwing him out of the tower with these lightning bolts. This is a very different and unique take on the tower. I love that this. I just love the art for this deck. I was a little hesitant actually because of this card, because I do actually love the Tower. I know that's really weird. It's one of my favorite cards in the deck. And this tells me that it's not so much your life falling apart. This is you being thrown out of your comfort zone, kind of thrown out into the world, and you have to find this new foundation. You have to create a new foundation for yourself. So that's kind of, I think that's really what you're looking at. Um, it does seem like though some of you might be having a new romantic interest that came in April, or potentially just sometime in the past, and somehow that's playing out in May. It does feel like a water sign. It could potentially be Pisces or Scorpio, maybe a Cancer, and maybe an Aries as well. So a lot of fire, or either a water or fire sign, really. Or I'm sorry, a water or Aries. Um, but it just feels like very intense. It's kind of just blowing you, you're blowing your mind, really. Um, Very interesting energy, and with this well card, too, I feel like you're finding a new strength within yourself. You're going very deep, and you're just in a very inspired time. There's a lot of inspiration that's coming up for you. Some of you might also be working on some new art project or some new creative project, and it's almost like it just comes to you in a flash. And whatever it is you're working on, it seems very, very powerful. I'm so interested to see what we have in terms of animal wisdom for the past energy. What is the animal wisdom here? Yeah, okay, this is again not a surprise. We do have the snake card here, and this is very much about Kundalini energy, enlightenment, magic, and shedding as well. There is some shedding with the tower here, but again, this feels more like beliefs. This doesn't feel like a physical shift with this Knight of Cups. But even if it is, you feel pretty calm about it. You're just going towards things that feel better for you anyway. Whatever it was that you lost, if you did lose something stable, it seems like you're feeling very, you're following your heart. And with the snake card, there is also I'm just seeing this very big spiritual shift that's happening for you right now, and this is actually quite lovely. Usually the tower is pretty intimidating, but this doesn't feel like the scary tower energy. To be honest, this feels very. You got some big energy happening for you. So let's. I really want to see what's going to be happening for you in the first half of May, starting out here. Yep. Okay. Got you. So we do have this hanged man here showing up again. Some of you are dealing with a Pisces. That's becoming pretty clear. Or someone who has a lot of Piscean in their chart, or just very dreamy, romantic person. We do have this Four of Cups in reverse as well. And we do have the Justice card in reverse. So it seems like you're gonna kind of be in a standstill. You're still making up your mind. You're still a bit blocked off from things in your day-to-day life at the beginning of May. And I don't think that's horrible. I do kind of get the sense that you're feeling a bit frustrated with it at this point. You're being with this Four of Cups in reverse, it's almost like instead of you finally realizing that this you're being handed a blessing, there is still this I feel like there's this lack of clarity with the Justice in reverse card here. It's almost like a lot of you are still not totally sure how to go forward. You're not totally sure what to do next, and you're still a bit stuck on something. But I honestly don't even get that that's so strong. It's just you're not seeing what is now being handed to you. You're still I still feel like because this four of I'm sorry, because the hanged man is here, this perspective for the Four of Cups, it still needs to be gained. You still need to realize what is being handed to you. There's some sort of offer. There's something you're not seeing totally clearly yet. And it's requiring you to take some time. You're kind of in a timeout right now at the beginning of May. And you're going to be holding off on making a decision or some of you might be rushing a decision, and if you think you're ready to do that, I would definitely reconsider, because I think there's still an angle that you need to, a new angle you need to take on something before you go and accept an offer here. Some of you may also be having kind of closed off communication with a Libra, or someone who has a lot of Libra energy in their chart. This is someone who they're not necessarily thinking very clearly. They're not being very fair in their approach with you. And perhaps that's what's holding you up as well. This person who's kind of holding you back. Perhaps this is actually the blessing in disguise that you're not seeing, because perhaps this person is being guided divinely to prevent you from going down a path that would actually not really serve you at this time. So if that resonates, definitely consider that. Especially if this person is a Libra or a Pisces. I'm interested to see now what the animals have to say about this blockage here, this pause that you're still taking. And it's not bad. It's just, I feel like this is a much needed time to meditate, really. So what is the animal wisdom here? What is the animal wisdom for Sagittarius? That's too many. So we do have the turtle and we do have the zebra. So turtle is definitely kind of a withdrawn creature. I am kind of getting the sense that actually some of you might be needing to travel, or some of you are considering travel. Turtle is a being who is very much at home anywhere they go. They travel very well as a result of that. They kind of just let themselves be carried by the tides to wherever it is they need to go. And zebra can kind of indicate far away or foreign lands, something exotic. And if you're not physically traveling, there's definitely some sort of mental journey you're taking, some sort of new horizon that you're envisioning. Zebra is honestly a very Sagittarian card to me. This is almost your animal card in the deck. And I feel like a lot of you are definitely opening your third eye. You're having visions. You're having a very strong intuition. Despite everything that's kind of holding you up, it's almost, this is how this intuition is going to come to you when you're given pause. And it is important to make progress, to not totally stagnate here, but it is definitely a slow, steady energy at the beginning of May. That is pretty obvious at this point. And if you're trying to bring that in balance, if you're feeling stuck, you might actually just need to go on a day trip or some sort of adventure to shake things up, actually. And it does feel like some of you are definitely going to be traveling as well. There might be some travel delays, but I do feel like that is going to be helpful for you. And it's going to be very much... It's not like a vacation, if that makes sense. It's almost like a pilgrimage. It's a very enriching travel experience. So whatever you're doing, wherever you're going, it feels like it's for your own enrichment. It's very mind-opening. And it's helping you get out of this black and white thinking, or get out of this rigidity that you're feeling stuck in. Yeah, this is interesting. Some of you may be moving home, actually, or just be traveling and not really have a home. That's a really Sagittarian thing, but that just came up for me as well. Some of you are actually kind of in a liminal space. You're kind of between homes right now. You're really trying to figure out where it is you're going next, and that was kind of the key phrase starting this reading off. So that makes a lot of sense. Home is where the heart is very much the turtle energy. So for those of you who are really struggling to find that, get back in touch with your heart. Let's see. I am now going to take a peek at the future, kind of the second half of May, or potentially the outcome of whatever it is you're working on. So it could be out to June or even further beyond. Time is pretty relative in these general readings, so it may not exactly fall in this time window, but it's just a good sense to know where things are kind of headed. And it's actually looking pretty, it's looking interesting. We do have the Seven of Pentacles. I do feel like by the end of the month or after this period of pause, you're definitely going to be going to work on something. You're definitely going to be working very hard. And Sagittarius can be a bit of a workhorse. So it seems like you're finally able to go forward with something, even though you've been held back. You might potentially be working on some sort of relationship as well if there is a Pisces that's coming towards you. It seems like there's going to be a lot of effort that's put in, either on your part or theirs. But I just feel like this is, for the most part, your energy, very hardworking, and that your efforts are definitely going to be noticed by people. With this Queen of Cups in reverse, I do see that there might be some emotional manipulation that you should keep an eye out for. This is someone who is very psychic, very intuitive. They could potentially be a water sign, especially a Cancer, or even an early Leo. No, I'm sorry, a late Gemini. They could be late Gemini. So this is someone who is very good at reading people. They're very good at figuring out what makes people tick. But instead of using that to help people and benefit people and be nurturing, like this upright queen, they use it kind of for selfish gain, or they use it to manipulate people. And I feel like this is someone who's trying to manipulate your emotions. Someone who's you might be very tied up with. Perhaps that's what this Hanged Man is actually about for some of you as well. And maybe that's why I almost feel like this is what you're not seeing with this Four of Cups. There might be some sort of blockage that's actually a blessing in disguise. It might be this person who's being emotionally manipulative, and when they finally come in, it's going to be really obvious, like, hey, this person actually is not helping me in any way. And just to be clear, with these court cards, it's not gender specific either, so this doesn't necessarily need to be female. I've realized I've not been saying that for the court cards, so I need to start adding that into the readings. And finally, with this Eight of Cups that we have kind of in the mental position in reverse, I actually do see that a lot of you are going to be returning to something. I feel like after you've had this enlightenment experience, after you've gone off by yourself, you are going to be returning, or someone is going to be returning, especially if there's a water sign here. And just to kind of be aware of that, I feel like there's been a lot of shifts that you've had, so I feel like mentally you are going to be in a pretty solid spiritual place, I gotta say. And it's definitely been a journey for you, like an inner journey. I don't feel like this is necessarily an outer journey, although for some of you, there's definitely some travel involved. But it feels like mentally, this mental journey that you're going on, it's going to really be playing. You're going to see the results of it more towards the end of May, or potentially out into June. I'm just going to pull one last animal card here to kind of tie up this energy. Let's see. Phoenix tried to come halfway out. So some of you, you really are going to be setting up new foundations, which is interesting with this Elk card. This is very much about creating foundations for yourself, being very stable, not only to provide for yourself, but the people around you. This is also a card of, Elk is very sensitive to their environment, so they need to be careful with what they're putting into their body, with what they're surrounding themselves with. So just eating more consciously, just being more conscious with the way that you live your life in general. I do feel like this is a really nice energy, and whatever it is that you're going to be working on at the end of May, I feel like it's going to really pay off. Although it does feel like there is kind of a shakeup, because we did have that flash of the Phoenix here, and we do have this Empress in reverse at the bottom of the deck that just keeps popping out at me. And to me, it could be a Taurus you're dealing with, or potentially a Libra, but this is almost like stepping out of your comfort zone. Again, that's kind of been like the thing for you, with the Tower in the past. You've been kind of removed from your comfort zone, and that's still going to be something you're feeling for a while. But honestly, Sagittarius, you're pretty good at getting outside of that. You're not one for monotony. You don't really stay in that too long. And I did actually put the animal deck upside down as well, and you definitely are going through a transformation with this butterfly card. So I feel like whatever spiritual shifts are happening for you, it's actually going to be leading you into a much more productive phase. You're going to have a lot of energy to work on your stability and to create a new foundation for yourself. And I feel like this isn't necessarily physical, especially since a lot of this has been very mentally focused. It's been a very mental month for you. But I do feel like by the end of May, you're going to have a really good sense of what it is you're building on. And also, for some of you, I feel like this is very much an intuitive hit with this card. There is some sort of like paternal issue, some sort of father issue that's going to be resolved. If you have a distant father or father you're not really in communication with, they may actually be coming to communicate with you. Some of you may also just be working on your own father trauma. There may not be actual contact with them, but it's just you're thinking a lot about your father by the end of the month, um, which is interesting. That just came in really strong. So that might only apply to a couple of you, but yeah. Um, I'm not really getting any more messages right now. It's looking like May is actually going to be a pretty powerful month spiritually, energetically. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming towards you. It's going to be a very psychic time as well. So I hope you enjoy that. Um, I do hope that this reading resonated with you. If you'd like to book a private reading or make a donation, all of my information is down below in the description box. Make sure to hit like and subscribe. I'm so happy with the continuous growth that this channel is experiencing. I thank all of you so, so much for helping me be able to put out these messages for you. It's absolutely a dream come true. So thank you so, so much. And I will see you for the love reading, some of you, or I will see you whenever I see you. Happy May. Bye.